Hey guys, this is me and Jackson. Say hi. Hello. And check it out. We're still in Utah. We're cranking out some videos today.
It's just getting started in Utah.
It's just getting started. Jackson, I really like Jackson's outfit right now. Jackson looks really cool.
This isn't even my jacket.
Jackson looks BA right now. Look at this guy. So here, wait. Can you? I gotta put. Are we gonna put our shoes on?
I didn't. I was just out there.
You were no shoes.
Right.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I just wanted to make some videos right now, and I like making videos with Jackson. Oh, let's go in here. Let's go in here. Check this out. Is this someone's room? Hello, hello. Oh, you're in here? Sorry. All right, someone's in there. All right, we just wanted to see. Yeah. Would you like to be a long-form episode of my YouTube? Would you like to? All right, check it out, guys. This is just crazy. Jackson, what should we talk about?
I don't know, but we'll figure it out.
We will.
Show them what we're looking
No, I did. I was showing them this morning. I was like, holy guacamole. Oh, I told them about how I almost smoked a cigarette last night in my last video. Of course.
Okay.
And Jackson was the guy. He was like, no, don't do it. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. Who is that? Look at Troy. Come here. Troy. Hey. Back up. He said back up. You can't see him. I can't.
Camera when you're far away.
I know, because it's so reflective. But then I get up here. Do you want to hang out?
It's cool.
All right.
We were just throwing grapes. You just throwing grapes.
Oh, you're wasting food? That's nice. It's a sin, you know.
Yeah.
It is a sin.
You guys were just throwing grapes?
Shout out.
He's just filming my fucking chin.
Dude, this isn't like a silly haha chase video, okay? We're just hanging out. We're just hanging out, okay? Where is Chase?
He's upstairs. I just made eggs. It's good.
Yeah, for me? Where my hug at? Jackson.
We have a good 20 minutes before I freeze to death. So
20 minutes.
what has been on your mind recently?
What's
been on your mind recently?
Dude, I'm just you know, I kind of want to talk about like this is crazy that we're here right now, but also I'm like kind of like get over it in a way that's like kind of like okay, like I almost more like wow, it's crazy that like I don't know, just like you know, I think that me when I first moved to LA would be freaking out about like stuff that I'm doing right now. What do you think?
I think you should always be freaking out.
I think, but like,
I
do you
really
not
do.
feel like that?
Whenever I do start feeling like that, I try my best to like reset because I think in life, especially like the journey that, you know, we're on, like if you get jaded to it, I think that's a sin, bro.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't think you should ever get jaded to this. Look, bro, look at you could
No,
it again.
no, for sure.
I have the whole video just be this.
I know you're totally right, and yeah, I was just thinking like more so like stop. But I mean like in terms of like, I think that there's one half of it is like be like act like you've been here before. You know what I mean? But also at the same time like recognizing like okay, you work and you get stuff, and
I agree. I think act like you've been here, and I think that's cool. But I think when you're alone and it's just you,
Yeah.
I think you can freak out, man.
Really sitting it.
I think you can really freak out. But like, yeah, sure. I like act like you've been here. I think I was acting like I've been here the first time I ever went somewhere because I feel like you kind of have to do that.
was that when you were in Paris for YSL?
No, that was
Look, but you're being jaded to it.
Venice.
That was Venice. He got flown out to Venice for YSL for Yves Saint Laurent with his boys. Wait, but that's cool too. Was that your first influencer trip?
Yeah, first ever. I was a guy in Portland. Is this becoming about me?
No, talk about whatever, dude.
I hate
Come
talking.
on,
I
there's
don't.
no
I mean,
rules.
the rule is I don't.
Hey,
like talking about
I want to hear about you. You're an interesting guy. You have an interesting life.
I was in Portland, filming TikToks, for like 2 years, and that's all I was. You know what I'm saying? I was just a guy in Portland.
Hustling before it even became mainstream. That you had that eye.
Sure, yeah, sure, bro.
No, I always respect like how early you got on this shit, dude. I always respect it because like you were in that shit. Okay, but I want to talk about that. But, so that was your first influencer trip, was doing that.
Yeah, so I
What'd
went.
that feel like?
Bro, it was like I got this email. I get this email and it was like, "Hey, you want to come out to Venice?" And it was like from Saint Laurent. And I called like somebody that I knew that is a little bit in the industry, and I was like, "This is fake, right? Like this isn't real." And she checked it out and she was like, "This is 100% valid." So I went from like just being a TikToker in Portland, Oregon, to like going to Venice, and then obviously I met all my friends there.
Oh, you didn't meet them at that point?
I had never known those kids.
You know Hub?
No, dude.
Wow.
I met Hub for the first time. I think Hubert DM'd me one time before I went to Venice, like one time. But I met all those guys, and then obviously I went home for like a week, and then LA for 2 years.
Wow, dude, I remember seeing that when I was like I probably had 600K. I remember seeing that and being like, first of all, that's a great look for the brand. I remember seeing that and being like, oh, y'all are like, you guys are that bitch. Like, that was a great look for the brand. I literally remember seeing that and I was just like, I felt like I was the only one who didn't get invited, even though I wasn't even big. But I was just like, dang, like, but I always wanted to get to that point. And now feels kind of like like it feels like a thing that's happening like that right now. It's like a cool thing that's happening right now. But I remember seeing that and I was so jelly. I was like, look at these guys, like, because I was also modeling too, and I didn't know. I just assumed that everyone's working all the time. I assumed that everyone has $1 million. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily the case for everybody, but it's like,
bro, I was broke as I'd ever been in my. I worked at a golf course. I had to take. I had to.
It's famous working at a golf course.
Dude, I had to take the week off to go to Venice.
Oh my God, they were probably tight. They were probably tight. Their favorite caddy was gone.
Bro, totally. Favorite caddy. Yeah, no, seriously though, the members were pissed. They were like, "Where'd he go?" Yeah.
Club members. Well, so that was a great look for the brand, doing that. And then, you know what I did? When I was in Cabo, so the first night we all got a, so we all like did the fitting, then we all go back to our hotel, and we have a what you call it?
A team dinner.
Yeah, we have a team dinner, but
Is it really that?
but just with with the models, just with the models. It was just the models.
Always, sure.
So it was me and the other models. We were just sitting there, having some good food, and we get like per diem, so like it was a free dinner. And one of the people were like, yeah, like I'm just like, so like they just like said they were grateful and stuff like that, and I usually feel like that, but like I don't know, it just kind of like stuck with me. And someone said to like this weird exercise where like I don't know how I got into this, but somehow like it's when you get to certain positions where like you're proud of yourselves or you experience like some form of success, and then you go back and like kind of give a hug to your younger self when you're in a time when you were scared or something like that. And I never had thought of that before, and I thought that was like really interesting. So I went back home, or I went back to my bed in the treehouse, and I was sitting there, and then it was like you have like a screen door kind of that locks, but like you're overlooking the thing. It was dark out, but like you still have like the fresh air. And I just looked out there and I got in position. I turned the bed heater on and I just like crisscross applesauce and meditated and really got into it, where I was really like talking to my younger self, like it's okay, blah blah. And it made me think about like, I wonder if in every lifetime like a future me has like given past me a hug, and like I feel that hug in like the next life. I don't know, whatever. But like I was just I don't know, it just felt really good to sit in like the gratitude. And I think that has been really important for me these days, because I sometimes I just never want to, like, I know that a younger me would be super jazzed about where I'm at right now, and I feel like I talk about that on this channel, like where I'm at and stuff like that, but it's just like, I started the YouTube late, so like I'm just now kind of filling people in on like my life and stuff like that, and I feel like things are doing good, and I'm just like want to continue to like stay grounded, so that's how I'm doing that a lot. Not that I have anything for you to say.
I don't know, man. If anything that I could go back to out of everything you just said is, I think it's extremely important not to get jaded, and I learned that recently when I went home for 3 months. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So like when you're in Cabo and you feel yourself like all these models around you, like I'm geeked to be here. This is amazing, and you're sitting there and you're like, you know, kind of like you're used to it at this point. You know, I like what you did. You got to sit there. You got to meditate. You got to think about like where you came from and how amazing it is that you're there. Because you know, I went home to Oregon for like 3 months. Because a lot of the times in our industry, it's like, bro, there's like 2 weeks that go by and you're like sitting there and you're like, the next thing isn't here. Nothing's happening. And then something will happen. And you go and you do that and life's good again. 2 weeks, something will happen. But you know what I'm saying? I got to the point where 2 months went by and nothing happened.
Yeah.
So then it was like, okay, I'm going to go home to Oregon. I'm going to regroup. And when I was home in Oregon, I was like, I was so jaded to what I had, you know?
Right.
And then now that I'm back, I think it is very important to be
do you
grateful
feel
for
like
it.
it like rejuvenated you to like kind of like what you're doing, like you're on the
Absolutely.
right path, you don't want to
Sure.
do that, you know
I
what
mean, it rejuvenated me in the fact that it buried me. I was put to the lowest. You know what I'm saying? I went from like a life where I was out in LA living on my own to home. It was like back to ground one when I was 16. You know what I'm saying? So 100%. Like being here, bro, this is amazing.
Yeah, I feel that. You know what? I saw this video. It said like sometimes you don't know if going home feels like you can't tell if you're escaping the matrix when you go back home or re-entering the matrix when you go home. You know what I mean? Like when you go home, it's like feels so weird because you don't identify with that person you were, but
I think you're escaping the matrix.
you think I think you are too, but I think in a way you're escaping it to a point that like at least for me, I don't really identify with that much anymore. Yeah,
Just so you know, this is the matrix. You're escaping it.
This is
And
like
I think it is important to go home every once in a while. I really do. I think it is important to see the people that saw you before you were ever like chasing this dream.
yeah.
I do. And as much as sometimes you can see those people again and be like, you know, it's the same way like past friendships. You see those people and you look at them and you guys have nothing in common anymore. I still think it's important to value those to a certain extent.
Dude, you know what? I'm actually gonna disagree with you here. I think that I want to disagree with you with with the point that you said to go back home. Well, I have done that, you know, on like 4 separate occasions, and every time it's just kind of like feels kind of like okay, like you know, kind of old ways, like what's going down over here. But I really remember the last time I went out there, and I really just like it wasn't, you know, like in terms of going back home and seeing like kind of roots type thing, because like one, I don't really identify with like the roots that much, you know what I mean, but also that I really just feel like I am no longer like I identify more with what I am, who I am right now, than I do with anything, you know, back home where I'm from. And I really just felt like, wow, this is really no longer me. And I think mentally, I definitely like kind of like checked out, moved on, evolved from that point. Like that's really how I
I
felt.
don't think you'll ever move on from it. Dude, I think the number one
Well,
thing,
it's different because you were born and raised.
I only like disagree with you to the slightest extent because that the path that you're describing is the path to extreme arrogance. That's what I see it as.
I don't.
think it can become.
You don't think you can just outgrow things?
No, 100%.
You think you can out? Oh,
No,
okay.
100%. Yeah, you can. Yeah, that would have been a real conversation. No, you can't outgrow things.
All right.
Absolutely, you can outgrow things. And hey, if you think your family, when you go back there, is not mirroring who you want to be, then perfectly valid.
Well, I'm talking more about like just environment in general.
This is what I'm saying. I think it is important to have some sort of roots, meaning whether or not you're rooted in certain people that you have in LA,
Things or
people that
things that ground you.
people that have known you for a little while. I think it is important instead of just being somebody that is so. This is how you can become really lost in the sauce. That's the only danger. But I agree with you. It is a very important thing to move on from certain things that are hindering you or reminding you of a person that you don't feel to be anymore. I think that's completely valid. I just think, you know, like when I look at celebrities that are really lost in it, I think it's because they have no roots. And they've kind of lost because, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff is some sort of, you know, like
the sauce.
It is the sauce. This is all the sauce. And I think when you don't have any roots, you can really fall into this like, I don't know, man, an arrogant headspace.
So I agree. I totally hear what you're saying, and I do kind of agree with that. But you know what? The reason that I say that is I just like I think that the environment that I've put myself in, the friends that I've made, post high school life, post Arizona, all this stuff. I think that my environment, my close friends, all like more accurately, reflect who I am. And I feel like I just really, that feels like grounding for me. Like amongst everything, like this is fun, but like this, like hanging out with you, hanging out with Troy, hanging out with Chase, like that is grounding for me. And I think that I just have mentally, like, that's just more who I am these days. And like, I am that because like I've been doing that. You know what I mean? I've been like living that truth of like, this is who I am. This is what I do.
And that's perfect.
Yeah. And that's just like,
Is an environment for success. But what we were talking about that one night where you were like, I'm thinking about just doing my thing, right? And I'm totally paraphrasing what you were saying that one night, but you were like, I'm just gonna do my thing. I think it is powerful, but I think there are certain people that are there for you and love you and have your best interest at heart that you probably want to hold on to.
yeah, I think you're right. That's very
Until you know what I'm saying? Always trust your gut until you have a day where you look at them and you're like, you don't have my best interest at heart.
Right.
And you aren't a good reflection of me anymore.
Right.
And then you got to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I totally hear what you're saying. I think you're totally right.
I just think it's really important, especially in the industry that we're in, because like I said, you can really lose touch with reality almost.
And you know what's crazy
You really can.
is that like we're aware of that, and like we haven't even like got to that place yet. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, but like social media is such a big deal now, dude. Social media is almost more exposure than some guy that's a
World class pianist and like
exactly, or even like an actor. He's been in a few movies, and you might recognize him, but you're more exposed than him. Right. So in a way, you actually do have more attention coming your way. So in a way, you already are at that level where this is what's so dangerous about influencers is you can get so lost. And all of a sudden you're walking around like you're the man when, dude.
But can't you get lost in anything? Can't you get lost in playing hoops and disconnect from the world? Can't you get lost in being a painter? Get lost in being a writer?
Sometimes the best art in the world is made when that happens.
Like,
so you get what I'm saying? It's a blessing and a curse.
It's just.
But bro, like those guys that are.
It's just like, what is it? Not hypocritical. It's like, I don't know. I can't think of it.
No. What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say like it's just not ironic. It's like it should be good, but it's bad. It's bad, but it's good. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
What I mean?
It's the same thing where like you get lost in the sauce as an influencer. Let's say you really lose it and social media becomes your world. You could be really successful in 4 years. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You could have the biggest house at the top of the hill.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it really just depends where your goals are with it, like what you do it for. So that's why what I really respect about you is that you're very art driven and I'm very like reward driven to where like I want to make a lot of money. Sure. I want to have X, Y, and Z thing. You know what I mean? Because like those are like I just enjoy that. You do it very like you love the art. Sure. This is important to you. You feel free when you're acting and things like that. You reject everything that doesn't, and that's what I really respect about you. But what I love is that, like, it doesn't matter how you get there. It just matters that you're, like, doing that to get there. And I think that, like, that will reflect, upon seeing, like, where our lives end up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, our values will reflect in, like, the life/career we have. Just speculate.
I think it's important to surround yourself with people with common values, but with different, you know what I'm saying, different experiences and different like thought processes. So totally, dude, like we have very different philosophies on what we're working on. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I feel as though we have similar morals. All right, this is becoming like a dick sucking session. But
I don't think so. I think this is pretty normal. I think especially for people who
100%.
don't have like people who might not have great social circles, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean, who might really want to work on that, and like even maybe a goal this year is to find a great friend group. I think that like
I think then those are really good pieces of advice. Similar morals, but maybe somebody that's like, if you're a more quiet and contained person, maybe somebody that's like yourself,
Yeah.
super.
I think that's why I gravitate toward Jackson so much, because Jackson just like I think if you're like a loud, annoying person, you always want to be like quiet, whatever. And I think if you're really quiet, you're like, wow, I'd love to be like,
Yeah.
"Ah."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
we
yeah.
both think
True.
that's cool.
True. Very true.
But yeah,
Very true.
but that's also why I like having friends who do like completely different things, like Abby. Like Abby does like, you know what I mean? Like it's
Shout
cool
out Abby.
perspective. Shout out Abby.
We love you, Abby.
watches like all the videos.
We love
dude.
you, Abby.
Abby's like a YouTube menace.
My guy.
Yeah, but yeah, dude. So, but I think this is a good video. I think this is a good.
That was a blast. I had a great time. I think we really hit our stride about halfway through, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we hit our stride,
It
lost
takes
our
some
stride,
time.
hit our stride again.
It takes some time, but it feels good. But yeah, thanks for watching. Let's make some more videos while we're here. This is fun. Do you like doing this?
I very much so enjoy talking to you. So.
Look at, just a good guy. All right. Well, love you, buddy.
Love you too.
All right.
very much.
All right. Bye, guys.